Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new, welcome to my channel. So today's video, I was gonna record the breadths challenge, but I had a little issue with that. I couldn't do the brows. I don't know what was going on. I tried to do a new technique with a different product instead of the glue. And when I did it the first time it worked, but when I did it the second and third time, which was today, it just like it wasn't looking good. Like you could still see like the brown. So I decided to film another video and ask my teacher why that was happening, and then I'll film that one later on. But yeah, it might be a little bit late for that video, but that's fine. I can still get it up, it's okay. So today I have a little list of video ideas that I thought I would do, and I kind of wanted to do like a everyday makeup look, just because I thought that it'd be really useful for maybe the people who watch me who just kind of like to put on a little bit of makeup, or maybe they're going out to dinner and just want to do a little bit something, you know, just to make it a little bit more natural and sort of. And I am going to be applying shadow and liner, but I'm going to do it in a way that looks more natural, if that makes sense. When we get into the video, you kind of understand what I'm saying. Please tell me my mic is on. Okay, we're good. But yeah, so that's kind of my idea. And of course, you don't have to apply shadow. You don't have to apply liner if it's like too much for you. But I did just want to do a little bit more just for those people who do wear a little bit more makeup. So it's kind of there for everybody. But I will be telling you guys, like, you can stop here if you like it like this and you don't want to apply more. Things like that, if that makes any sense. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get right onto the video. Okay guys, so now that we have the brows on and the base on, which is what I always use, I am just going to go in with the palettes. So I'm going to be using two here. I don't really know which ones I'm going to go towards. I might just use one, and if I do, I'll let you know. But these are the two that I'm going towards. The Dream State palette by ColourPop, the Makeup Revolution palette, and Flawless 4. So these two have really like neutral shades. This one has like some pops of pink and purple, but for the most part they are neutrals. So if you kind of want to add a pop of color, this one will really work for you guys. You can see all my shit there. Oh look, there's my little tripod of books. Save money, kids. And now this one is obviously basically all neutrals except these like three little pops of colors. So I mean, if you guys do want to do like a neutral look and add some pop of color, these two palettes are really great for that. But first, I think I'm going to go in with the Dream Street palette with Kathleen Lights and ColourPop, and I'm going to just take the very first shade that's in there. It's like a warm-ish kind of brown. It's not too warm, which is kind of what I want. I don't want it to be like full-on orange. Like this, for example, I don't want to use something like that because I feel like it wouldn't look as natural-esque. So I'm just going to zoom you in. There we go, nice and personal. And I am just going to use the fluffy brush that I love so dearly and that I always use, and go in with that shade and just put this in my transition, in my crease is my transition shade. And yeah, I'm just gonna speed this up just so that it's not so long. I've never heard that sound in my life, but yeah. And now that I'm looking at what this color is kind of looking like, I do want to go in with that kind of warm shade that I was telling you that I didn't want to use. This one right here. And just to kind of give it a little bit of warmth, but not, hello, thank you. Just to give it a little bit of warmth, but not that much, just so that it's not too cool toned. Just because I personally don't like makeup looks that are super cool toned. Like I prefer more warmer looks, but you can kind of see it just kind of give it a little bit more life, I guess. And I just went in it with it once, and that is good enough. And I'm just gonna do the same thing on this eye. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix this one and a little tiny bit of this one, and just to put it on the outer corner and just give a little bit of darkness, but not too much, because the eyeliner, the eyeliner and eyeshadow is gonna help us achieve that. So I'm just gonna mix those two, but just a little bit. And I'm just gonna use the JH38. When I say JH, I mean the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collaboration that they did with the brush. So as you can see on my brush, I barely took any of that dark shade just to kind of give it a little bit of darkness, but not that much. Kind of just like a tad bit darker than what we have on the crease, just to add in some more depth. Or if you want to, you could also just take the crease color on the outer corner as well, if you don't want it to be too dark. But honestly, they're kind of looking really similar. So there you can kind of see I just added a little bit of darkness on the outer part, and I'm just gonna do that to the side. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this shimmer, this shimmer shade right here in the palette. You could also go for one of these two if you'd like, but I just feel like this one is gonna look a little bit prettier. And this one's called Spark. It's gonna look a little bit prettier for the Mine I Haven't look, just because the other two shades are a little bit more dark and I kind of want this to give it a little bit of light. I might mix it a little bit with Elfish right here because it's kind of like a satin like white champagne kind of shade. So I'm gonna mix those two, and I'm gonna take a flat brush like this and just mix through. And I'm just gonna take some MAC Fix Plus just to get that full effect, and just apply this on my lid kind of, and then I'm just gonna blend it out with that outer corner. Okay, so this is kind of what it's looking like so far. Now, if you do want to make it a little bit more natural, you can take off the darkness and just apply light to the eye. It'll just give the illusion of not too much makeup because you're not putting so much darkness, if that makes sense. Okay, so now for the liner step, you can take a pure black or you can take a dark brown. If you take a pure black, it's gonna make it look like you're wearing more makeup. And if you take a darker brown, basically it's gonna still look like you're wearing makeup, but it's gonna look a little bit more natural, just because the shade is lighter, if that makes sense. And it's still gonna give you that effect of your eyes lifted. So I'm going to take a dark brown, and I'm just going to use this palette just because the one that's in here I already used, and it's kind of more of like a dark brown with like a purple undertone is kind of what I'm seeing. So I just want to take a true dark brown, and this is the one that I'm going to use. And you can even mix it in with a little bit of black if it's not dark enough. But first you can just start off and see if it's working. So I'm just going to take an angled brush, and I'm just going to dip into the brown and just a pinch of black, literally a pinch, and just start creating that wing. Okay, so there you can kind of see the illusion that it gives, but as you can see, it still looks natural. Like, it doesn't look like so bold. And honestly, this is what I really like to do when I am honestly too lazy to do normal liner, or I just kind of want to get a more smoky look. And I did this on one of my clients for a wedding she had. It wasn't her wedding, it was a wedding she was going to, because she really wanted the outer corner to look like that. And I don't know if the model had eyeliner or not, but I did it like this and she really liked it. So I do really recommend doing something like this when you want a really smoky look, but you don't want to add liner. Like, you don't want that to be the attention of it, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other eye. Okay, so that is how we are looking, and I'm gonna just kind of go up close just so you can kind of see basically what it's looking like. Don't mind the inner corner if it looks like cracked. My eyes are watering, so basically what happens is the shadow kind of starts to crack because of the water, which is awesome. So I just have to keep fixing it. But yeah, so that's how they're looking. And now I'm just going to apply mascara, and I'll be right back to do the face. Okay guys, so for the face, my face is kind of feeling a little bit dry just because of all the makeup I had to take off before doing this video. So I'm just going to use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer, and I'm just going to use this as my primer. And now for foundation, I'm just going to use the Light Illusion Luminous Makeup Nude Skin Feel from Flower Beauty, and this does has SPF 18, which is really good because it's gonna protect you from the sun and all that if you are doing this more in the daytime, which is perfect as well. Oh, just by the way, if you see any mascara, it's normal. It happens to me all the time, and I just wait until it dries and then I just flick it off. But anyway, this is a really nice foundation just because of the finish it gives your skin. If you do, in my personal opinion, I feel like having more glowy skin kind of looks a little bit more natural than being completely matte. So, and of course, if you have oily skin, you can always fix that with using like a luminous primer, or maybe using a, what is it called? A dewy foundation that has no oil. But I just think it looks a little more natural and kind of makes you look glowy from within, like a healthy kind of glow. So this is kind of why I decided to use this foundation for this specific look. But yeah, so I'm just going to use this foundation with my beauty sponge. And yeah, you can just kind of see, once I'm done with it, you will just be able to see that glowy look it gives, and I just feel like it looks so beautiful. Alright guys, so now that the foundation is on, I am not going to go in with concealer just because my eyes are still watering, as you can see. So I'm not even going to bother. But yeah, so now I'm going to bronze, and for bronzer I'm going to do it in a cream just because it also kind of looks a little bit more natural as well. So for bronzer, I'm just going to take the Fenty Matchstick and Mocha, and I'm just going to paint some on the brush. Like, I'm just gonna coat the whole brush just so that it's like an even distribute. And you obviously don't want to go in with it just yet. And I'm just going to take off the excess on the back of my hand. So I'm just going to start to bronze, and I'm just doing this in dabbing motions. And if you put a little too much on, or you kind of want to blend it out, just go back in with your sponge and go on top of it. And as you can see, it gives it a really nice natural-esque kind of look, and it's not blotchy, it's not like super overpowering, and it just looks really, really beautiful on the skin. So I'm just going to keep doing this motion and keep applying this bronzer, and I will be right back to kind of show you guys what it looks like at the end. Oh, and by the way, this is an angled brush by Duo Color, and it's like pretty stiff. It's not good for powder bronzing because it's really stiff, but it works really well from what I've noticed so far for bronzing in cream. So I'm just going to take a little bit more and add it on the brush, and then again take off the excess on the back of my hand. Then again, here I put a little too much, so I just go in back with that sponge and just tap it, and we're good to go. And as you can see with that brush, you can get that really nice clean line, so it saves you a step from baking, and it just looks nice and clean already. This is kind of the motion you want to do just so that you don't lift up the foundation from underneath. And now I am just going to go in with a cream blush. So this is the only shade of cream blush I have, and I have more in my makeup kit, but I'm too lazy to take them out, and I'm kind of scared that this is going to be a little too rough, and I've never used this, so I'm not quite sure what to do. I'm just going to go for it. So I'm just going to take some of that blush. I put it on the back of my hand, the one that I put on the back of my hand. I just kind of went around with it with this brush right here. So right off the bat, I can see that, oh, it looks a lot. Right off the bat, I can see that it's not super pigmented, so that's good because that way you can control it. For some reason, it looks a lot more pigmented on camera. I don't know why. Let me see if I do it. Whatever. But it doesn't look as pigmented in real life. Where is it? Okay. And it's honestly a really pretty color because it is kind of like natural-esque because it is so dark. But also you can go with a lighter pink shade. it really depends on how you build up the blush, the way it's gonna look. So if you build up a lot of it, it's not gonna look as natural, that is, unless you, so if you build up a lot of blush on your cheeks, it's gonna look not as natural as it would if you put on less, which is basically logic, but it doesn't really matter the color you use. Like if you use a really dark red, if you use a little bit of that dark red, it's gonna look more natural than if you use a really light pink and you pack it on so heavily. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say. If you guys understood, hopefully you did. And I'm just doing that same patting motion that I did with the bronzer. There we go. Now I'm just gonna take this beauty sponge or beauty blender, whatever you wanna call it, and I'm just gonna dab around it just so that it's not like super like sharp on the edges, just so that it kind of like blends nicely. There we go. It looks so much brighter on camera than in person. It's so weird. And now since my eye is watering like a biatch, I'm just going to take this little cotton thing and just take that off. And now if you don't want to apply foundation in this, like, oh here, this is what it actually looks like in real life. I don't know if you got those 2 seconds of it being, oh, well, it basically looks like this. It just looks a little bit darker on the camera, but it basically looks like this in real life. But anyway, if you don't want to apply foundation to this makeup look, what you can do is you can just apply concealer to like your problem areas. Like for example, me, my chin is super red and my nose tends to get red, and so do my cheeks, and I apply it right underneath my nostrils, and then I just kind of blend it outward just to get a little bit of coverage here, and then it looks super duper natural and it doesn't look like you have anything on. And then you can just apply bronzer and blush on top of your natural skin and a little bit of that on top of that concealer as well when you hit like these areas. But yeah, that's also another alternative you can do. If you don't want to apply foundation, you can just apply concealer to the problematic areas that you might have. Hopefully that all makes sense as well. All right, so now we are just going to, I am actually going to take this Crush on You palette by ColourPop, and these are just cream highlighters, and I'm going to try these out with my finger and my face not set, just to see what they look like, because I tried them out in the video that I just posted, and I didn't know they were cream highlighters, so it kind of didn't, you know, go very well. So I'm just going to apply that on the high points of my cheeks. But yeah, you can see it's a lot more pigmented now. But honestly, not as pigmented as I would think. But again, it does look a lot more natural than it would with a powder highlight from Jeffree Star, for example, because his highlighters are super duper pigmented, and you can obviously tell that you're wearing something there. Like your skin is not gonna naturally look like that. But this naturally looks like a glow, you know? Looks like natural sweat, if you want to put it that way. But of course you're not sweating, so everyone's like, what is happening on her face? It looks so pretty. And now I'm just going to set my entire face with the RCMA No Translucent Powder, because it's spilled all over my table, so I'm just going to pick it up from my table and set my face like that. And I'm just using this Face Secrets brush that I got from Sally. Okay, and now I'm just going to apply a little bit of powder blush, just whatever is left on from this powder blush that I always use, just to give a little bit more color. And then for highlight, just because that one was a little too subtle in my, like, just for my personal taste, I am just going to use this brush right here, and I'm going to be using the Flower Beauty palette highlighter, and I'm just going to use the gold and the white and just apply this. And then I'm just going to blend out that highlight just so it doesn't look like a nice straight mark. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the eyes, and I'm just going to fix my liner because of how much my eye is watering. And now I'm just going to go in and kind of get rid of that mascara that I got on my lids. Now I'm just going to take a mixture of the transition shade and that kind of orange shade and just put this underneath my water lash line. Just because I don't want it to be too dark and just kind of take away from that natural kind of look. But I do just want to give a little bit of definition to the lower lash line, so it's not completely bare. I'm just gonna highlight my inner corner, which will last 2 seconds, and apply some lower lash mascara. And I'm just going to set my brows in place. Alrighty, and now for the final step, which is lips. Of course, you can do chapstick, which is something that I definitely recommend. It's something that I like to use a lot when I'm going out, and I do want it to look pretty natural. Or you could use just a lip gloss and do that. But for this look, I am just going to use a lip gloss that is pretty pigmented, so that I still have some color on my lips. And I'm just going to use the Morphe lip gloss in the shade Flower Crown. And on top of that, I am gonna apply a little bit of a pinky color, just because I feel like this makes me look dead. So I'm just going to use this lip gloss, which is from Saks Fifth Avenue. I have no idea who this is, but it's in mine, and it is super pink. And also another great tip that I can give you guys is to use a tinted lip balm. A great one is from, it's a little pricey, but it's from Bobbi Brown. And this is kind of what the color looks like, just to give you an idea. So it's a tinted lip balm, and it's super duper pretty. I love this color, and I definitely do use it pretty often. When I'm just like running out the door and I need to get something on my lips, I just go for that one. So yeah, guys, I would add some setting spray, but I'm literally gonna take this off when I'm done because my eye is annoying the crap out of me, and I can just feel it just watering and watering and watering, and I can't take it anymore. This is a completed look. I know it looks like a lot of makeup, but I did give you guys some tips and tricks just in case you want to kind of like tone it down a little bit if this is too much for you. But this is something that I would definitely do if I was going out to eat with family, and I had the time, or if I was just going out to dinner like at like a later time, because it is super like simple and still glam, but you don't look like so makeup-y, if that makes sense. And of course, the trick with the concealer is definitely gonna help make your like skin look not as makeup, if that is making any sense to you guys, which I hope it is. But yeah, guys, and of course you can also tone down the eyeliner or take it off or whatever you may desire. But I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this makeup look. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I just want to say that I love you guys so much, and if you guys have been watching me, that means the world to me. It really does. I just keep wanting to keep going just for those people who keep watching me, and honestly, I just enjoy doing this so much and enjoy recording videos and putting them out, and just being so happy once I'm finally done editing a video and can finally post it on YouTube for you guys to see. But yeah, guys, I love you so much. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do that already, and turn on your post notifications for any videos that I upload in the future video, which I am trying to post every Thursday, which I am keeping up with that schedule so far. So yeah, I will see you next Thursday, and yeah, guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Oh, that's like gross white stuff. There we go. And the Revolution, Makeup Revolution. What the hell? Corner, what the fuck? Focus and give me light. God. It's not great for powder bronzing, but it's good for powder contour. Powder, what? Okay. I thought my mic wasn't on, and I was about to shit myself.